Hello ladies, welcome back to the Confidence Club. First and foremost, I just want to thank you all for being here, for trusting me as your coach, for allowing me to have this opportunity where we can get a little bit more intimate, get to know each other more, and I can receive your feedback and upgrade my content so that we're both supporting each other on our journeys here. I'm really excited to share today's lesson. Again, being part of the Confidence Club premium membership means you get premium videos, and these videos are deeper lessons that are not made for beginners or people who are new to manifestation or people who are just starting their journey. This is for people who are really committed, really dedicated to becoming the best version of themselves and getting real results. So today, it's going to be a little bit of a heavy one. It's going to be a little bit of a harsh one. I am not going to be sugarcoating anything here in this video. I'm going to be really raw with this lesson because you need to hear it raw. You need to hear the truth. And that is my promise to you as your coach, is I will always tell you the truth. I will always guide you through the process of manifestation from the most authentic place. And I'm not going to misguide you in any way because I actually want you to get this stuff. I want you to be who you want to be and get what you want to get out of this life. So let's get into it. Today's video topic is like the Cinderella mindset or Cinderella syndrome. And basically this is when young women grow up in a household where things are really rough for them. You know, if you don't know the story of Cinderella, basically, like, she grew up with an evil stepmother and stepsisters, and she was like forced to be the only one to clean all the time, and they were rude to her and, you know, verbally abusive and mistreated her, and she like wore really cheap clothes and was basically like treated like garbage, treated like less than, like she was treated like a peasant while they acted like royalty. And even if your childhood wasn't that severe, right? Even if you didn't go through something that was super toxic or super abusive, the lesson you would have learned is you're not worthy, you're not good enough, other people are better than you, and your life is miserable, you're unhappy, you're not satisfied, your needs are not met, you're not valued, you're not important, you're not good enough to be treated a certain way. So there's so many ways, and I can't cover them all in this video, of how you might grow up in an environment that gives you that type of Cinderella experience. But I'm sure you are self-aware enough to identify whether this sounds right for you. Now, what tends to happen is young girls are also fed the narrative that your prince is coming one day, that there will be a man who can take you away from all of this darkness, who can come and provide for you, and they'll protect you, and they'll be your safe space, and they're going to fix all your problems, and magically you're going to live happily ever after, right? That's the story of Cinderella. It's like her life is really trash all the way up until she meets the prince, and they literally just live happily ever after. Like, at least that's the Disney version. And so, like, it's really this belief, this fantasy that some of you adopt to cope. It's something that gives you a sense of something to hope for, something to look forward to, because you had a rough upbringing, because your home life when you were younger was kind of tragic and painful. It's a form of escapism, and it's a form of dissociation, and it's also a form of not taking accountability. So if you're looking for someone outside of yourself to fix your problems, if you're looking for someone outside of yourself to come save you, you are in what's called the victim mentality, or the victim mindset. And the victim mindset says, bad things happen to me, I need a savior. I can't protect myself, I'm vulnerable. I'm too weak to take care of my own needs. I'm too incapable of protecting myself. Like, the threat is bigger than me, basically. And when you're a kid, like, yeah, that's pretty realistic. If you're a kid and your parents are verbally or physically abusive to you, or they're neglectful, if you don't have your basic needs met, like, yeah, your problems are pretty much bigger than you once you're a kid. But as you grow up, like, you do develop the skill to take care of yourself. You do develop at least the ability to learn how to take care of yourself, even if it might be really hard or challenging to overcome some of the obstacles because of your upbringing. It doesn't mean you can't do it. The problem is If you've been raised in this victim state, breaking out of it becomes a challenge, because not only do you not feel safe where you are, but being independent also feels unsafe because it feels new. And if you know anything about psychology, human behavior, the way our brains are wired, we are optimized for survival, not for success. And what do I mean by that? When I say we are optimized for survival, that means our brain chemistry, our nervous system, our eating habits, our fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, our mannerisms, the way that we can flex our behavior and use our facial expressions and body language, tonality in our voice, changing up our vernacular, or otherwise what it's called code switching, is all a means of getting us safe, keeping us safe, or getting us to safety if we're currently in an unsafe position. So all of our behaviors and habits that are subconscious, that are hardwired into us, right? Our hardware in our computer system is for survival. And then we have software. And the software is like when you get a software update and, oh, there's new updates. Okay, well, this new update brought this app that I didn't have this app before, and now I can play games on my phone, right? So it's kind of like that. We're hardwired for survival no matter what. We all need food, clothing, shelter, and community. Those are our 4 basic needs. And if we don't have one of those 4, we can easily be in that victim mindset of my needs are not being met and I feel helpless to get them met because I've been reliant on other people to meet my needs my whole life. And it's that transition from, childhood to adulthood that if you're in that victim mindset, it can be really difficult, because it also forces you to wrestle with the idea that your caretakers were adults, and so by becoming an adult, part of your brain may associate that with becoming hardened, becoming cold, becoming just like them. A lot of us fear coming from our childhoods becoming our parents because of how our parents were to us. And part of that fear creates resistance in you, so you won't do the necessary growing up because you associate growing up or being an adult with being abusive or with being cruel or with being emotionally unstable or in pain or rude or whatever, however your parents were. And again, this leads to this somebody has to come save me mentality. Somebody else outside of me has to come fix my problems. And that will be the biggest disappointment for you in life and in love, because even if that somebody comes, all of your problems are still going to be there. All of the baggage that you've carried from childhood is still going to be there. So seeking a relationship to fix you is the fast track to disappointment. Instead, what a better mindset is how can I work on myself as a person? How can I develop my skills on my own? How can I learn to trust myself? How can I step into my adulthood from an empowered place and know that I don't have to end up like my parents? How can I break those cycles? What can I do differently from what they did so that I don't have to feel that way, so I don't have to treat others that way? And especially if you want kids, so that you don't have to pass that generational trauma down to your kids. And a big part of that also is forgiving your parents, because they didn't have the tools that we have, and their parents didn't have the tools that they had, and so on and so forth. It is our obligation, generation after generation, to do better than the last. That is just the human experience. You can't argue with it. You can't fight it. It's the nature of things. We're all meant to do a little bit better than our parents did, and ideally do a lot better than they did, given the proper resources and support, which you have here. So knowing that you are in this fallacy, recognizing that you're in this victim mindset, you're stuck in this Cinderella syndrome, is going to allow you to break out of it. Just acknowledging, okay, that's been one of my stories. The story is I'm weak, I'm broken, I'm incapable, I need to be saved. So the new story needs to be, I'm really successful on my own. I am a well-rounded person. I have all of these skills that allow me to provide for myself. It's easy to take care of myself. Like I'm not afraid to take care of myself, and I know I won't become my parents. I know that I am constantly growing and evolving into a better version of me, and I'm confident in that fact. And really focusing on your self-concept of being strong and capable in the world, not just strong in relationships or, strong for the sake of hiding how vulnerable and weak you can be at times, but strong knowing that no matter what I've been through, I'll be okay because I got me. And especially if you're a woman of faith, you're okay because God got you, right? And so when you know consciousness has your back, help will come the way help needs to come, as long as you're open and receptive to it. And let that be your legs to stand on as you grow into your femininity and into your womanhood. And then from there, you recognize, why do I think somebody else holds the key to me being happy? Why am I giving my power away to somebody else? It's because as a child, you take everything personal. As a child, you don't understand the world the way that you do as an adult, and you're not meant to. You're meant to evolve and grow. So as a child, you think, I'm unhappy because my parents are making me unhappy. Therefore, the converse must be true as well. If my parents just made me happy, then I would be happy, which as a child, that's pretty much true. As a kid, you borrow happiness from your parents. You come here already perfectly happy as a baby. You get upset when you are soiled or tired or hungry or need connection, sure, but your parent offers that to you, and they sustain that for you, or at least they're supposed to. And so you learn, if I want to stay happy, I have to go to them, and they are my source of happiness. And then growing into your adulthood, you learn how to be your own source of happiness. So what the Cinderella syndrome really is you're stuck in childhood. You're stuck in that cycle of, I have to rely on somebody taking care of me to get my needs met, including happiness and fulfillment. And again, this is the fast track to ruining a marriage, is thinking that this other person has to be there to meet all of your needs or fulfill you in some way, that this person has to serve you, that this person has to show up for you a certain way for you to be happy. You can only give yourself permission to be happy if this person is serving you in this way. And that creates an expectation that leads ultimately to disappointment. There are going to be times, yes, that your specific person, your husband, can support you, can fulfill your needs. However, it's his job to fill his own needs. And if he's spending all of his time and energy filling yours, he has nothing left for himself, and vice versa. If you left your childhood and became a people pleaser, you're going to be over here self-sacrificing, giving all of yourself and your time and your energy and your resources to serve him, and you're going to be drained and none of your needs are going to be met. So here is a rough quote from Jim Rohn, who is one of my original mindset mentors, and he says, I used to say, I'll take care of you if you take care of me. But now I say, I'll take care of me for you if you take care of you for me. And what that means is, if I'm taking care of me and I am my best me, and you're taking care of you and you are your best you, then when we come together, when we collaborate, you get to experience my best me, and I get to experience your best you. And we get to share in the beauty of us bringing our best to the table. And that is so much better to prime for success than, I have to constantly serve you. I have to constantly give to you. I have to give to you to get love. And a lot of you believe that. A lot of you believe I have to perform to be worthy of this love. I have to show up in a certain curated way in order to receive love. I have to work really hard to get love. I have to prove myself to get love. I have to do and do and do, instead of saying, I have to take care of me. And as long as I'm good, we're good. Everybody's good. I'm great, you're great, we're all great, fantastic. Like, what's on the to-do list today? And so when you stop looking to anyone outside of yourself, and that includes God, That includes turning to God as though God is external from you. And this is, of course, a non-dualistic belief or assumption or logic here. Believing God is outside of you, and God outside of you is going to give you something that you don't already have within yourself. Which, if you're here and you're in this world of manifestation and you're still believing that, I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how you can believe manifestation works with a God that is outside of you. Part of why I teach what I teach is knowing that God is through us. We're a channel. If God is water, we're like a straw, okay? It's just going through. It's passing through the tunnel. And so our consciousness is our attachment to that source, and we're pulling that water from the source, channeling it through into, like this video, for example, what I'm creating. I'm not really creating it. I'm diverting it from the source. That's a whole conversation in itself. But anyways, looking to your husband to fulfill all of your needs is going to disappoint you, and it's going to disappoint him. So rather than giving your power away, because that's what you're really doing, when you're in that victim mindset, you are giving your power away. You're saying, I as a victim can only be okay if somebody else comes to take care of me. I can only be okay if this person cooks for me. I can only be okay if this person tells me I love you 1,000,000 times in a day. I can only feel safe within myself if this person is providing for me. I can only give myself permission to feel good if XYZ comes from this person or that person. That is the most powerless position that you can put yourself in. And it's the most disappointing position, because when human beings fail, because we do fail, you will feel heartbroken, you will feel angry, you will feel betrayed, and ultimately the only person to be mad at is yourself. You expected this person to give you something that they couldn't give you, and now you're mad at them for your own expectation. That's not healthy. And in no way, shape, or form is it healthy to perpetuate the cycle of I can only be happy if they do this, if they give me that, if they show up in this way. What feels much better is show up how you're going to show up. I choose to love you on your best days, on your worst days, whether you are kind to me, whether you're a jerk to me, whether you are totally lovingly obsessed with me, or you want to take some time and space away from me. That's fine. I'm going to love you anyways. Because that's the kind of godly love that we are meant to give to one another on this planet. And it's something that, especially as a coach, I've really learned to adopt is I have so many of you beautiful people coming to me with a vast variety of problems and sharing with me your childhood traumas and your vulnerabilities, and I just welcome you with open arms, and I say, okay, I'm your safe space. You're okay. Whatever you've been through, I get it. I understand. I might not have gone through exactly what you've gone through, but I know enough. I've gone through enough to know that, hey, if I can be okay, you can be okay too. And having your own back is how you create the security to have a container like that. Even this video got interrupted. Even this coaching group right here, this is a container. What does a container mean? It's containing energy. It's containing conversations. It's containing this relationship between you and I. And I am only able to hold capacity for this container because of the love and the work that I've done on myself. And the same goes for my marriage. I am only able to hold a certain amount of love, forgiveness, empathy, compassion for my husband because of the work I've done on myself. And when I start to notice that container gets leaky, if I start to feel like that container's too small to hold, it's because of me. It's because I'm not able to hold that capacity because my needs have not been met. And so when you recognize that nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, pouring into yourself, doing what feels best for you, not using other people as an excuse to not do what you're dreaming of doing, right? Don't use your parents as an excuse for why you're not pursuing the career that you want to pursue. Don't use your friends as an excuse for why you shouldn't be with this person that you're interested in being with. Don't let whatever society has told you limit what you believe that you can accomplish or should accomplish, or how you should present as a woman in this world. Like, don't let other people's beliefs change or control you, because you will ultimately be unhappy. And this goes back to the idea that you have to serve others to keep the status quo, because that's what you learned in childhood. But you're not a child anymore. You're not. And even though it feels safe and warm and comfy to be in that victim mindset, to be stuck in that Cinderella syndrome, if you truly want to be happy and successful and your most confident self in life, you can't stay there. You can't. It doesn't work. So what we're going to do, this is your homework here. We are going to practice self-love and filling our cup. I want you to write down what are 3 things you can do, either on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a regular basis of some sort, to make sure that your needs are met by you, okay? That's the key, that you are meeting your own needs. How are you keeping your lifestyle, right? If you are mostly provided for by somebody, if it's your parents or your partner, how are you making sure you're also bringing in your own money so that you can have your own experiences independent from them? Side hustles, selling old clothes, arts and crafts, things like that. And then one I want you to write about is, how are you taking care of your health? Your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual health. What are the habits that you can turn to when you start to notice your vessel, your cup, your container is leaking? That you're not able to hold space for others as best as you wish you could? How can you fill your own cup to make sure that you're strengthening that container for others, to again, be your best self for others? And the third thing I'm going to have you write down is, how do you notice yourself self-abandoning for others? In what ways do you self-abandon for others? Are you the kind of person who's going to drop whatever task you're doing immediately as soon as somebody asks, even if it's really important that you get to a stopping point? Like, let's say you're in college, you're writing an essay, and you're just, the flow of consciousness is going and going and going, and your partner asks you for help with chores. Are you going to get right up in the middle of that flow of consciousness and break that flow of consciousness and potentially ruin your momentum and capacity to succeed as your best self in writing that essay, doing that homework assignment for the sake of your partner? Or is what your partner asking for not an emergency? So you go, okay, I hear you. I will take care of that. I'm really focused on this right now. I would like to get to a stopping point before I take care of that. And notice the ways that you're so willing to, even if it's like you're a specific person and you guys are in the communication stage, they don't text back right away, but you do. Every single time they text you, you're texting back right away. Like, super frantically, oh my gosh, I have to text back right away. Like, notice the ways that you are self-abandoning and putting their needs above your needs. And the activity is just to notice them. We're not going to judge ourselves. Don't worry about fixing it right away, but we want to become aware of how this victim mindset is playing out in our day-to-day life. We want to become aware of what ways we are able to fill our cup and what ways we don't know how to fill our cup and what's lacking there. Manifestation is all about awareness. What are we aware of? What are we doing that we're unaware of, that we can become aware of, so we can either choose to persist in it or get rid of it and replace it with a better habit or behavior? I know that this was, again, a kind of a heavy one. It was kind of a very serious one, but this is something I see so many women do. So many women are self-sacrificing in relationships because society has taught us that's the only way we're worthy of getting certain treatment from others. It's the only way we're valuable to others is if we're doing, and if we're doing at the cost of ourselves. We're doing for others at the expense of filling our own cup. And like, I learned this the hard way, that is not a recipe for success. It is a recipe for resentment, divorce, self-harming behavior, declining mental and physical health, declining spiritual health, like anger, frustration, like all of the bad things that we don't want. And especially if you fought really hard to get where you are today and to overcome a lot, you want to identify how you're still self-sabotaging so that you can get to that next level. Because overcoming the Cinderella syndrome, overcoming the victim mindset is profound. It's not a small change. It's not a little fish, okay? It's a big deal. It's a really big deal to overcome that. And it's a really big accomplishment when you do overcome that. So I intend that everything that I've shared today helps break you out of that victim mindset. You know, you're not a princess in a tower. You are a woman who is on a mission to become their most successful and confident selves, and that's amazing. And you're fully capable of doing that. So you are welcome to reach out for support if you need it. I have changed up my coaching offers quite a bit, so I'm just going to direct you to the website in the description box for this one. And I will also remind you, I have a marriage material self-concept course, which is all the things that I did to heal my attachment style, understand my love language, regulate my nervous system, and so on, to become a better version of me so that I could be better in partnership, in union with my specific person. Thank you all for being in the Confidence Club, and thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.